Everyone talks about the joys of motherhood. My sisters would call with glowing tales of their wonderful, lovey-huggy children that slept through the night from the moment they brought them home from the hospital. That was not my experience. I still flinch when someone hands me a small child because I am so used to being hit and kicked and scratched. I have scars on my body from where my children would bite until their teeth touched. You see, my two children had autism. Motherhood for me was mother hard. To give you an idea of what this is like, my children, in order to overcome what they were struggling with, we would go to 18 appointments a week, 3 to physical therapy, 3 to occupational therapy, and 2 to speech therapy. It kicked their asses. They worked so hard to appear normal by society's standards. My daughter wanted so desperately to have friends and yet couldn't stand to have anyone within her giant bubble. So she'd get closer and get closer, and they'd make contact and she'd scream because she couldn't handle it. But we were blessed to have wonderful therapists, and things got better. And I started to feel a longing. So I called my husband, who was stationed in Korea. The call went something like this. Hey, babe.
Hey.
How you doing?
Fine.
He's really talkative. I take a deep breath. I want another baby. Hello, are you still there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Well, why do you want another baby? We already have a boy and a girl. Well, you know, it's been challenging with these two, and it's been really fun. And I kind of want to know what it might be like to raise a neurotypical child. Well, I mean, I enjoy making them. And then we talked back and forth about the pros and cons of adding another child to our family, especially since he's in Korea. And I asked him, what if our next baby has autism? And he thinks about it for a minute, as he often does before he speaks. And he says, well, who better than us to raise another kid with autism? That's a yes in my book. So we get busy, and 9 months later, we have a beautiful baby girl. She has blonde, curly hair and big, beautiful eyes. She snuggles, she huggles, she sleeps, and she's my delight. That being said, we were really cautious. So we enrolled her in a study in Chapel Hill for siblings of children diagnosed with autism. And at 12 months, I take her in to get testing, and she nails it. She tested at 18-month level. So she's wicked smart, and I knew she was going to be. But I also knew we had to go back in 12 months. So I cheated. I taught her all the little things that I knew she would need to do in order to pass this test. I teach her to pull the blanket to get the toy that's on the end. I teach her to stack the blocks just like the person who shows her how to do it does. And we're ready to go. The Eliases are winners. We're going to do this. Now, every parent with a special needs child will tell you that our children is perfect exactly as they are, and they are. But watching what they struggle with and what they go through, if we could take that away from them in a heartbeat, we absolutely would. So heart in hand, we go up for our second 24-month test. I walk into the door, and we sit down, and she starts playing with the toys, and I'm like, all right, we're ready for this. An hour goes by, and she hasn't really engaged with the tester. And I'm like, that's okay. She's shy. This is new. 2 hours go by, and she still hasn't really engaged with the tester. And I'm like, well, she didn't sleep very well. I probably kept her awake because I was so stressed out. So it's fine. It's going to be fine. 3 hours into the test, it gets a little harder to tell myself we're fine. Mrs. Elias, would you please wait in this room over here while we tally your daughter's results? Sure. I pull her into my lap, and I smell the top of her head because that is just my zen. That Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo is crack. And she looks up at me with her big, beautiful eyes, as if to say, Mama, I am so sorry. Mrs. Elias, the doctor walks in. We're pretty sure your daughter has autism. We're very comfortable with that label. Here's what we've learned from the test. If you enroll her in developmental preschool really, really fast, we think the prognosis will be wah, 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 wah. All I hear is autism. They hand me a stack of papers, and I carry my daughter out to the car, and I lovingly place her in her car seat and buckle her in. And I smell the top of her head again because that is just my zen. And I sit behind the wheel and I start the engine. Another child with autism. Have I done something wrong? Am I a bad parent? Another child with autism. Do I call my husband who's in Afghanistan and tell him? Or wait until he gets home? Another child with autism. I put the car in drive, and on the way home, I go through all 5 stages of grief because I process things really fast. So first comes anger. How dare God do this to us? How dare he do it to her? It was so hard with the first 2, and now she has to go through this? What the heck? Then comes denial. You know what? Girls with autism are so rare. The odds of us having 2, those tests are skewed. This is not happening. Then comes bargaining. God, give me cancer, something. Take this from her. Please don't make her go through this. It's hard. Then comes grief, as I grieve the child that I thought I was going to have. And then comes acceptance. And the words of my husband come back into my head. Who better than us to raise another child with autism? 12 years ago was that day, and my children are thriving. I have a 20-year-old who's an artist and the kindest person you're ever gonna meet. I have a 19-year-old that sings like the angels, and I bawl like a dog every time she sings. And that little 13-year-old now, she's an incredible artist and gives the world's best hugs. So he was right. Who better than us to raise another child with autism?